probably freaking wham or something. Shiny fucker. These are hand-me-downs. Fitted in. Now look like the character from Bread. The British TV show Bread. I look like the responsible son that, you know, would boss the others around, boss the chubby dude around and whatnot. And I knew his name when it came to me. Except he had full blonde hair, but he would wear jeans so it looked like this. That's a dead hay on there. I do cock and balls. Look at the finger, I don't know. See why I thought it was elite. Smart ass elite children with some device that was doing all this shit, writing messages to me. I take it back, and that might get like, oh, sorry. No, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's really put on the flaps. See me? I can pop it off. Oh yeah, sat there and rolled off the back, up the top, lovely. Took me a while to get here. Actually, it was at the end last night. Yeah, that's where I was kind of. I think. Around there a bit more. Alright, and then. Not going to go on about it, but you might just note above. See? They don't run away from me anymore. Or even fly away. Birds. They're on the about 4 or 5 minutes away. Because I'm not a threat. They know I'm not a threat. But I think it's got something to do with the light. Hello, that's my two parakeets. I've been trying to explain this theory. Oh shit. The last week or two I've done it in bits. And I try to put a video together. It's like extremely disjointed and difficult because a lot of things I was trying to show at one time. I'm still going to do it and I'll just talk or something over it. I'm not going to do it now. I was about to do it now as an excuse to stop and rest a bit more. So I'm a bit naked. But I'm going to keep walking. The short of it is once you collect all the... It's what they're trying to tell us through all the media and all the bullshit crap that gets offered to the masses as some form of apparent entertainment or some shit. And they just keep putting everything forward in different versions. Right, for whatever reason you can think whether people think it's malevolent, people think it's being smart asses and hinting, you know, right? Or it could be well intentioned, right? You argue if it's well intentioned, well, don't just come out straight and say it. Well, we don't. Who would you? I think plenty of people do, but the issue is who you trust. You don't accept everything, can't accept really anything you hear until you work it out for yourself. That's just kind of how it goes. It sounds like a cop out, but it's no, it's a reality of this current realm we find ourselves in, or I find myself in. Anyway, I can't talk for anyone else, but I can say that what I've decided, or what I've experienced, my view at this point, what I've learned from first-hand experience, while it does seem to match in with a few other overarching theories. Now, shut up. Once you, I've collected orbs over time, and it's effectively different coloured orbs until you can say it's a ROYGBIV, right? Once you collect all the letters, all the colours for ROYGBIV, right, it gets added onto your aura, your layers, your cosmic egg with all these layers, right? Your chakra system. It's all talking about this. But once you collect them all, so I have rainbow light coming off me now. I see this again and again in all reflections, in a lot of lights will do it. I get double rainbows all the time. I can push them out, and one of the things I was going to show is I do a push during the day, and the noise, and I always heard the noise, but this time it coincided. I've done it a couple of times, but this was the clearest and easiest to show, where I've gone, whew, and at the exact same time, a little rainbow, like orb, that when you see it close up in the rings, that appears like on the outside of one of my light body spheres, whatever you want to call it. We don't see them. It's non-visible light, and if you accept, like saying pick and choose a bit, but you have to kind of. So science, will even say, the visible light spectrum, we see 0.035% of it. So if you think about that and mull over that, if you accept that, and I suppose I've accepted that for a reason. I've accepted that, and I think, well. That always said to me, well, fuck, we see nothing, we're basically blind, and I think that's true, and that's why spirit is first, and I think this is really the illusion, physicality. Anyhow, I'm not getting off topic, I'm just not finishing what I started, so I'm not bad at that, but plenty of time, that's all we have is time, and we made that up even that's a bloody construct. All I'm saying is, I think once you collect ROYGBIV and you end up with the full rainbow spectrum, right? Which you can't. We can get glimpses of it, and some people over time, some men and women over time, can see it more and get more of a glimpse. And I've been that way myself over the last couple of years since I. Initially for reasons outside of my control, and not having to go into that place, the city over there every day, and I managed to follow the sun and the moon and nature more intently than I've been able to in the past, and observe and watch, get a bit more in touch with nature, and that's what happens. As I got more in touch with nature, more in touch with spirit, and started seeing things that previously were always there, but I was missing, right? And I'm still, it's like that now. I'm missing shitloads. I'm just seeing a bit more than I saw before, and I expect it will keep going that way. But the point that I'm trying to get to here, that meandering all over the shop. No, I got back to the car. That was quite a steep hill, That's why birds. At first I thought they weren't seeing me, but no, they saw me. They just know because they have better vision than we do, and they're like, oh, that's cool. He's got a triple word score on ROYGBIV. Right, hello, it's my two parakeets. Always fly, man. I'm sure they don't, and I don't even play Scrabble, it's just for some reason it keeps popping in my head. So, point is, they know I'm not a threat, because I'm not a threat. So I don't need to fly away. I mean, or they just watch a bird, which is quite likely. I said that the other day as well. But animals would do it. Animals would come up to me, right? It's been happening for a while. And I always loved animals. I preferred animals more in recent years. But I've got the footage somewhere, and I might dig it out and show it at some point. But it sounds out there, but it's real. It happened. I brought a mouse back to life, I'm quite sure, or he was just stunned, and when he was out, I'll tell the story another time. I've written it in comments, I think, but it's a real deal. And he lost a leg in the process. Like he wasn't moving a leg when he came back, and I was a bit concerned he was injured, and I looked after him, and then he kind of disappeared, but had him out the back under the sun. It's good that he disappeared, because I mean, he was alright. And then he turned up, because it turned out he kept appearing in my bedroom. And I was like, what the fuck? I was calling him Stewart. Stewart Little. My mate's kid used to talk about Stewart Little. Anyhow, I knew it was Stewart. He was in my room, and I could tell because he only had 3 legs. He was moving about, and he was not afraid of me. He was coming up to me, and fair enough, because I used my hand. I didn't realise at this point, but I used the heat that I knew come off my hand, and I saved him when I found him swimming, doing laps in my sink. And he could have been there for freaking... First I just thought, oh, now I'm telling the bloody story. Yeah. Right, so Stewart kept turning up for days, right? And I was like, fucking hell, how does he keep getting in, right? And like I had, you know, like found a couple, found one in the bottom of, in the bin in the kitchen, and I was like, you know, I was like, oh, I can't do it, I'll let you... set you free tomorrow. And then I did, you know, went to bed or whatever, and then the next day I come out and there's like 2 in the bottom. Alright, and I took them up and I let him go up at the concert in my house. I actually put a video up at the time, yeah I did, anyhow. But then this mouse, right, who I was naming Stewart, he just kept popping up, and I was like, fucking how's he keep up? You know, because I don't want him, like, you know, I love animals, but I don't want to share my plates and bowls and go anyhow. So he'll turn up in my room. I was like, fucking hell, Stewart. And then one day I get up, well, you know, whatever time, I don't know, I walked through this, I think it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever, and I walked to the kitchen sink, and I'm doing something, I was getting food, whatever, and I put something down there in the corner of my eye. That's the other thing with orbs build up, your vision seems to expand. Like I'll notice things from like, I don't know, it's like I feel like I've got more than 180 degrees of view, and orbs will flash way away my periphery to get my attention. That's partly what orbs do. We all have them, we all are looking through them. It's just, many of us don't realise. Anyhow, this movement up to the side, and I was like, oh, and I realised, I was like, Stewart, I was carrying on like a dickhead. I was like, but yeah, fucking ninja mouse. I was just being, you know, I was just melodramatic and, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden I realised, I looked down properly, it's gone over here. I looked down properly, and I realised he was swimming, because I thought he was just showing, like, I don't know, showing off. Like I said, oh, hey, you're a ninja, you know, just being Stewart, right? But nah, little dude he was swimming in the sink. He'd fallen in there and he couldn't get out, and he was just cutting laps. And I was like, oh, he could have been. It'd been like 8 hours. He could have been cutting laps for 8 hours or something, right? It was fucking full on. So I realised, oh shit, I had to think quick, and so I grabbed like a bowl or whatever was nearby, and some kitchen towel. I had to do it quickly, and I put it down for him to climb up onto it, and I put kitchen towel. And as he got up onto it, right, and he was like, oh, and he grabbed on. It was pretty freaking, it's extremely dramatic from my perspective, and I'm certainly from Stewart's. And he's grabbed on. I've saved him. He's like, guys, and as he's grabbed on, I'm pulling out. I swear he was like, he was smiling, right? He was looking at me like, oh, like, thank God. And I was like, oh. And he was just lying there. His little heart was like beating heaps fast. And I was like, oh, sure, I've got to come over to this, where like, the sun was, and I had him on paper towel, and he was like there. He was like this, except I was holding him in his hand. Well, not on the hand, but like on the thing, bit of Tupperware or whatever it was. Yeah, I'm trying to the sun, and as watch his little heart, he couldn't move. I'm trying to get away. He was fucked. And I was realising how full on it was, and I thought he was like dying. It looked like his heart stopped. I saw it it stopped beating. And I was like, Stewart, and I had my hand up, and I know that heat comes out my hand. I've known it for quite a while. And I knew I could push orbs at this point, or I could push and orbs would appear. Anyhow, so I've gone like, whoa, I'm like, Stewart, put my hand, and the heat really came out of my hand, and I held it right on top of him, and it was like, maybe I was an inch or two above him, and I was just like, and I was just focusing right on love, on energy. I was trying to bring him back. I was sending him life force energy. It's just in the back of my mind. It's like, that's what something about orgone and us orbs are orgone, are prana, are chi. It's all the same thing. Anyhow, you might be able to guess the next bit of the story, but he came back. All of a sudden, like after, I don't know how long it was. It might have been 10 seconds, it might have been 30 seconds. It seemed like a very long time. But, he came back, his little heart started beating again. Right, so, you know, he could say, oh, he was just, you know, frozen in fear, passed out, comatose. He was out, he was gone. But I think he died, or, you know, or close to it. And I brought him back. He came back. He was like, oh, and he sort of flipped around, and he was like looking at me, and he was like, you know, do I run, do I not? You could see he was knackered still, and he just sort of lay there looking at me, and I realised when he went to move that one of his back legs, I can't remember which now from there, I think it was his right, but I can't remember, that it was stuffed, like everything else was moving except for that, and I was like, you're right, man, it's chill. So I put him in this container at the back and covered it loosely, a bit of paper towel. You know, they wanted birds or anything to snap them up. And but yeah, then when he was feeling cool, he could leave, right? Which he did. He left, and just to try and finish the story off, oh, here comes some fucking shapies with a fucking dog just looking at me. Look, they're not looking anywhere else, just looking at me. Whole park, walk your dog out here. No, we'll walk on the road and look at me. Same shit everywhere I go, so I just swearing to fuck's sake. They're probably spewing that I came up here and they had to put away their remote control box acoustic cockatoos squawking. Yeah, you could take your dog out here. Your dog would love to run around if it was a real dog and you were real. Nah, you just do a lap on the road with a jacket on your dog. They probably take turns on who gets to be the dog and who gets to be the man and the woman. I don't know. Alright, anyway, they're here to distract me at work and I shouldn't let it. So, point is, after all this had happened, about 12 hours later, I think it was, might have been actually in the next, I think it was like the next morning, right, so longer than 12 hours. Was it night time? I can't remember. In my head I've been like 10 hours or 12 hours, whatever it was a significant portion of time, but not that long. I'm asleep and I wake up and I hear this like fucking rustling and I'm like, Stewart! And I can turn my phone on. I'm going to turn the light on. I just had the phone with a flash. And I'm thinking he's there. I'm like, oh, you're back. I realised he was coming in through a little gap in my screen in my room, which is a long way from where he'd gotten free. Like, because I've been shutting everything up. I didn't want him to get back in. And yeah, he was like, I had a muesli bar wrapper or something, and he was just in that, and he wasn't afraid of me. I was like, wait man, I should pick that up and fling that outside, and he was like, yeah, you don't do that. He was climbed into the end of the muesli bar wrapper, you know, he's like, and he wasn't afraid of me. The reason I knew it was him is because I think I might have said this before, I don't know. Yeah, when I was looking at the footage, and I'm like, hang on, you alright? Because Rose is a bit fucked, and he had 3 legs. So, look, I don't know whether this is where you know, it's holes in my story, but because we're living in some sort of a video game sim type situation, so anything's freaking possible. But I didn't see blood or nothing. I didn't see like a wound. I just saw he had 3 legs. Yeah. So what? I need to chew it off. So and that's, you know, it's a bit. You know, these are the questions I'm faced with. You know? Anyhow, he had 3 legs, and he hung about for ages. He wasn't afraid, and eventually, because I'd keep putting him outside, he'd puff on my bin and be like, man. And I'd get him in, like, finding the bin, and then, like, then I'd put him out the back, and he'd come back in. And eventually it was like, yeah, at some point I didn't see Stewart anymore. Poor bugger was, you know, probably fair game at that stage when he was outside. And I don't have a problem with him being inside, I just don't want to share my, you know, you know, fuck it, yeah, you know, it's not, yeah, anyhow, it's obvious reasons why I didn't want him inside. I'll explain that, hello. Around this time, oh, it's going forever. Oh look, here comes another lot of shapies. This time they've got a baby. It's another favourite. They can put a device in that, put an energy weapon in there, and something with a decent bit of power, I presume, and fuck you up that way. Something that happened to me the other night. Anyhow, oh, let's go further out their way. I'm trying to finish this stuff. It's just another example of one time around this time. I don't know if it's before or after Stewart, but it was around that time. See this? This is real wood. Looks a lot like the rock around here. It's called any. Yeah, around this is real quick. Around this time, I was sitting there in front of my TV in my bedroom, right? My computer monitor, whatever. And a cockroach thing, right? Walked out from straight behind the TV, like towards me. Walked out. And he stopped just as he got like, he's just, I don't know, a couple of inches in front of the TV. And I was like, oi! And he went, back in by the TV. And I'm like, alright man, I promise it's going to run out of shit. I promise I won't hurt you. Oh, fucking hell, wait, fuck's sake. Phone cap syncs at 10 minutes, probably fair enough. Probably I need that sort of reminder, I suppose. It's the first time I've been thankful for the, no, I wouldn't say I'm thankful, that's just a pain in the arse. I would have finished my story by now, be off, but anyhow, yeah, this little cockroach, alright, comes out from behind the TV, like, oh, about, I don't know, 3 metres back, and I was like, he saw me, anyway, and ran back behind the TV, and I was like, oi, alright man, I promise, I'm not going to hurt you, I'll gently, I'll just come back out, and I'll just gently, I'll put you outside, I promise you'll be alright, I promise I'm not going to hurt you. And no word of a lie, immediately at that point, he goes, do, and just walks out. Just walked out straight to where he was, and just stood there in front of the TV, like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh, sweet. And I got like a totally container or a glass and a, you know, because I always say spiders and that as well. That's just, like, you should look after nature, that's what we're here for. Right? Anyhow, this is a true story. And I put him in the thing. All right, come in, and I took him outside and went a few houses down and let him out in a spot down there. That happened. All right, Dr. Doolittle was probably trying to tell us something as well. Yeah, there's been some other things similar to that. I think all other animals are actually, obviously they're telepathic. Dogs, for sure, obviously. It makes perfect sense. I think I would suggest it. Men and women were and are. It's just been programmed out of us, right? The animals, of course they are. They look at each other, of course they do. Yeah, they make noises and whatnot as well, but it's not. They clearly are. We clearly are as well. We, men and women. Assuming that's, you know, specifically what I am, something like that. Alright, enough jib jab. Think about it, it's been proven. Actually, Rupert Sheldrake's proven it. Look that up. In Germany, this dog always knew its owner was coming home, and they did all these tests. Very stringent, very scientific, different ways of coming home, different times. She didn't even know until it happened. They'd organised different ways, and every time she makes the decision, she, the dog's mother, every single time she makes the active decision on going home, different ways, every time the dog will go and wait by the window. So that proves it right there. But it's like we need all these proof for the most obvious things that we all know. We've just been fooled by a lot of hijinks. You know, everyone's had that. You think, oh, something's clicked on that was. Oh, fuck. I had no idea that was as soon as it was in my pocket. Not something. Hello, hello. Something stand up. How you going? Some things have turned up. Anyhow, we've all had fun, like, you know, think of someone and they ring, boom. Get that a lot. I realised that orbs are actually carrying this message, and a critical part of it happened heaps because I'll quite often flash of orbs, and then the phone will ring or a text message or something big will happen, like at work when we found this stuff out. I was seeing our orbs before it. I'm not saying I've you know, necessarily still it's a heck of a lot to learn, but I'm saying that, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. But Stewart, the mouse, that was real deal. Yeah, I don't lie. I wouldn't even lie to myself on occasion. It's real. I'll find the foods at some point. Anyhow, thank you. Nice, you know, just blew up there. That's lovely. Alright, thank you. Much love. Thank you.